Hey, found out some really interesting stuff about the channel. I've been doing my research on the percentage of views per country. So where I'm most popular and where I need to, grow a bit and get more interest. All time, overall, there are one or two surprises, but I'm not overly surprised. The UK comes in at top at 26% overall. And in the last month, again, it comes top at 29%. So the UK is an engine room for this channel, and always has been. Second place all time is Australia with 15%, but in the last month it's been India with 24%. So India has started to really help the channel grow. And I've got a lot of new subscribers from the Indian subcontinent, and I do my live streams and I regularly have conversations with them online, and I enjoy the input they have, not just on cricket but all sports. Third place overall is New Zealand with 14%, but in the last month it's been Finland with 8.7%. Now Finland are actually on the all-time list as well, and the Finns have really started to buy into the channel and participate and ask a lot of questions and discuss sport, and it's great. Fourth place is the US all-time, and fourth place in the last month is the US as well. All-time the US has 11% of views, and in the last month they have 8.4%. So they've slowed down a little bit, but they're still part of the engine room. Canada comes in fifth at 8%. They're actually higher than all time. So in the last month, there's more Canadians percentage of the channel on a monthly basis watching. So I'll see Canada go up the viewership percentage in time. It's taken a while, but the Canadian fans, and viewers are coming back more and more, subscribing, participating, which is great. Australia actually is as low as sixth in the last month, and they're second overall. So the Aussies, they're still watching 6.2% of the video content. They've slowed down a little bit. So I need to possibly refocus a bit more on Australian sport maybe, and look at Australian sporting stories. And there's a lot going on in the NRL. So it will be interesting to see, when the rep round, the international break comes along, what happens there. Ireland are higher up in the last month than they are overall. They've got 4.3%, and overall they've only got 2.4%. So the Irish are starting to show more growth as well, and I would expect them to go up the all-time list as time goes on, and week by week and month by month. Sweden makes a surprise appearance in the top 12 in the last month, considering all-time they're outside the top 12. They've got 2.6% of the views in the last month, whereas overall, all-time, they have less than a percentage point, and they're not in the top 12. I did it by top 12 for all-time compared to the last month because of, percentages. New Zealand are very low in the last month. They're only at 1.9%, but overall they're third with 14. That's interesting to see how, they've dropped off a bit, and I might have to do and see what that is. And I'm going to see what the New Zealanders are watching as well. I've got to look at see what New Zealand have watched all the time, what's their favourite sport, what they're interested in, and go from there. It means I've got to do a bit more research on videos maybe, and seeing what they like. Now Germany as well is lower than all time. All time they've got 3.4%, and in the last month they've only got 0.7%. So I might need to give a bit more love to the Germans and research maybe the Bundesliga or their chances for the World Cup in the summer, and look at some of their football and ice hockey players, because they did really well in the Olympics in the ice hockey, the men's ice hockey in February. So there's a few things I need to research, and it gives me an idea of, okay, they're still in the top 12. They're still the driving engine for the channel, because the top 12 all the time is where most of my subscribers come from, and looking at the last month, we need to, have a bit more research and a bit more look at German sport, for example. And the two surprises in the last month are Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. So the Arabian Peninsula is starting to have an impact on the channel. These are minor numbers of views, These are less than that's a percent between them. If you add them together, 0.6, 0.4, that makes a percent. So 1% of the views in the last month is from Saudi Arabia and the UAE combined. That's actually less than the bottom two in all time in Tonga and Italy with 1.4 and 1.1%. So that is interesting to see that even in the Gulf, and the Middle East, I have viewership and people following and having an interest in my channel and sport worldwide. Very, very interesting. So this gives me an idea of you know, finding out what interests people in Saudi Arabia and what interests people in the UAE. And I'm going to have to look at all the data now and see what videos they've actually been watching and what sports they actually like. It's just curiosity. But no, this is basically charting the channel's growth over the last 12 months. And if it wasn't for the UK, Australia, New Zealand, the US, and Finland has really surprised me with the amount of sudden surge all time. But they weren't there at the beginning. There were not very many Finns in the beginning. It was mostly UK, Australia, New Zealand, and the US, and a bit of Ireland. They were the driving force in the early months. I'm surprised by some of the lack of countries in certain places, like South Africa and Tonga not being there, and Tonga being there, or the French not being there, considering the sport mad country that they are. But if you look at the last month, India has exploded. Massive interest from the subcontinent. Massive interest. But basically the same countries make the list. It's just interesting to chart the growth of the channel. So that's basically what I've looked at, is the growth and the growth in viewership and where people are from and what interests you guys have. So in the comment section below, just say where you're from and say what sports you would like me to look at more or look at less, what teams you want me to research, what players or sportsmen or sportswomen. And it gives me an idea of what you guys like, so I can provide better content for you guys, and also, find out something new about that I didn't know before, because I keep getting surprised by you guys, telling me facts that I didn't know. And then I go and research them, and it is really interesting how intelligent you guys are. You have a lot of knowledge, and it's a great community we built here. So thank you very much. Please like and subscribe if you've just stumbled across this. This is really more for the subscribers, but if you're new to the channel and you're floating around having a look at my content, yeah, wacky comments below on any video ideas you may have, and I will have some more videos for you soon.